Team Fortress 2 maps. Those things we all play, and the website we go to find them. Every year we embrace the spirit of competition and try to create the perfect Team Fortress 2 map. Except we haven't. We've had dozens of contests and hundreds of maps, and we still haven't done it. It's been 12 years, people. But I think I know the issue. Our contests have been imperfect, so the maps have never been perfect. We've done timed challenges, board games, checklists, but now it's time to announce the next TF2maps.net major contest. We've done 16 before this, and this time it's going to be perfect. Hi, my name is 14-Bit, staff member at TF2maps.net. You might know me as that guy that once helped Uncle Dane in a video, or as a younger, less cool UEAK Crash without a mohawk. I've spent the last 2 months of my life sorting through every previous contest we've done at TF2maps.net in order to categorize the strengths and weaknesses of each of them. So join me now as we announce the 16th major TF2maps.net mapping contest by uncovering the perfect TF2 mapping contest. So like I said, we've had a ton of previous contests at TF2 Maps, so I'm not including anything unofficial. That includes the Orange Map contest in 2010, Ravage's Assignment Frenzy, or any of the April Fool's Day contests before Crash took them over. I'm also not including any of the jams past 2015 since there aren't contests because there's no winners. So, that leaves us with 45 different contests that we've run. Okay, so we're going to go through this category at a time. First, we're going to do the original run of contests, and then we're going to do the major contests, side contests, detail contests, 72-hour contests, and then everything else left over. For each one, we're going to list a strength or weakness of the contest, and that'll let us build a list that we can build our perfect contest from. Ready? Here we go. So from June 2008 to March 2009, we ran a series of 8 contests that I'm dubbing the original contests. Just because they were the precursors to pretty much everything else on the site. So the first 3 of these were all texturing contests. We had a spy tech texturing contest, and texturing an oil pump prop, and a making an overlay contest. Now these first 2 only got 1 entry each, so it's safe to say people don't like making textures. So up next we have the original contests 4 and 5. First we have the building prefab contest, and then the payload map contest. This is also the second major mapping contest, but it was originally included in these list of original 8 ones, so it's both of them for our purposes. So I've put these 2 together because back then, mappers were cowards and didn't think that making an entire map was viable for a contest, so they practiced with a single building first. We've since learned from our mistakes, and we've found that people want to make a full map for a contest. So up next we have the precursors to our detailing contests, the spawn room, intel room, and capture point detailing contests. At 15, 28, and 8 entries respectively, we learned that the more people participate, the better the entries are. So we want to make sure that as many people participate in our contest as we can. So now that we're done with those, we're going to speed up and do our major contests. Our first was the control point / territorial control contest, and we got 6 entries. And that was like half of our user base back then. So we learned that people like contests. So then our second major contest was the payload map contest, and that's already on the board. And then our third one was the PLR or ADCTF contest. The contest lasted 104 days, and it took 84 days of judging to get the results. That's too long. We're scared of commitment. Short contests. Up next was our competitive CTF contest in 2010. It lasted 119 days, which is double our average contest length. That's not good, so we're going to get rid of competitive testing. Up next is the famous Art Pass contest with Valve. Out of this we got Man Manor and Mountain Lab, but the most important thing we got out of it was medals. People really liked the Mapmaker's Medallion. There were a lot of issues with this contest, but we're going to talk about those later because we didn't learn from our mistakes. Up next was Asymmetry CP. People like asymmetry. So up next is Dynamic Payload. We found out that people like dynamic things and they like payload things. So we're just gonna we're gonna redo that. We learned that people like dynamic things and they like payload things. So what we learned is that we should allow payload, because I'm pretty sure if we don't, somebody's gonna riot. So up next we had our King of the Hill contest, sponsored by popular YouTuber Star. Everybody really liked having them involved, so we're going to have to find some way to get someone named Star involved. We do have a server mod named StarTacker, so that probably counts. Alright, 2012 MVM contest. 7 entries, lowest of any major contest except for the first one. So we're going to go out on a limb and say no MVM. The Tale of Two Skill Sets contest. It's 2 contests in one. The first half was gameplay only, second half was detail only. This created a problem because only the good ones from the first half got detailed, and each of them got detailed multiple times. That means only one of them gets remembered, and all the other effort went to waste. This is the same issue that the 2010 Art Pass contest had, so we're going to put multi-phase and detail only up on the no board. Next up was Major Contest 11, Mercs vs. Aliens. It required mandatory custom content, which was a pain to work with, and it was also green and ugly. Dynamic Control Point. I personally had a blast with this one, but a lot of people found it very hard to do because of its complex logic requirements. So, no complex logic. Contest 13, Asymmetry 2, Asymmetric Boogaloo. This time people complained about being locked into asymmetry, and we can't have that. The perfect contest can have no complaining. Contest 14, Connect 5, the most complicated contest we've ever run. It required specific themes, it required specific map elements, it required specific times of the day for your map to be set in. It was really cool and far too complicated. So we learned one very important thing. KISS. Keep it simple, stupid. Contest 15, the Payload Checklist Contest. Considering the server mods helped design this one, we're surprised it went as well as it did. We tried out a new soft deadline system where there was the main deadline and then you had a little bit of time to fix your entries afterwards. We gave people too much time, but we think it's a good idea, so we'll bring it back for our perfect contest. So now that's done, on to the side contests.
That your pockets where it needs to be.
We've had 4 side contests. Our first one was our spawn room detailing contest, which ran at the same time as the payload contest. Our second one was the mapping in Notepad contest, where you weren't allowed to use Hammer and had to make your maps entirely in Notepad. I believe we had 2 working entries for this. And to those 2 people, why? Why would you do that? Why would you put yourself through that willingly? Our third side contest was Build Around the Track. We almost did this again instead of the Payload Checklist contest, but then we realized that having to build around something that you can't move or modify sucks and doesn't lead to interesting maps. Side contest 4, Mappers vs. Machines. It's another MVM contest, and we expected to get a similar number of entries to last time. We got 47. That's madness, especially considering it's only 6 people on a team and you have to test each entry like multiple times. It takes an hour each. We're not doing MVM again. Okay. What's next? Detailing contests. Our first one was in 2009 with the Control Point Mini Contest, and then we did another one in 2010, which was a do whatever you want to do contest. We had 33 entries in this first one, and we only got 8 in the next one. We're pretty sure that's because you need a theme or a direction when doing a detailing contest, which this one didn't have. We also learned the same thing in 2013 and 2014 again, so I've just put them all up together. Although we already did note earlier that detail only can't be part of our perfect contest, so this information really doesn't help us much. So for our 5th detail contest, we had the spawn room and intel room We already did spawn and intel room in 2008 and 9. This didn't do anything here, hold on. Okay, neither did the next one. I guess that one made the size limits larger, but that only... So I've looked into it, and I can conclude that we did not learn anything from the spawn room and intel room contest, the final control point detailing contest, or the high and low detailing contest. So I've just put them on the board, and we're gonna ignore our perfect contest for now. The detailing contests are fine as they are, we just can't really learn much from them. Finally, for our detail contests, we have Dusk Till Dawn, which is currently ongoing, so we can't really learn much from it right now. But if I had to say something, I guess it's a contest about lighting, so we're gonna need lighting in our perfect contest maps. 72-hour contests! Before there were 72-hour charity jams, we used to do 72-hour contests. These started in 2010 with this one, and in 2011 with this one. Most of these were just the same thing over and over again, so I'm just putting up all the ones that were the same at the same time. What we learned from this is people do short contests, sure. The 72-hour Winter Classic in 2014 was a little bit different though. Not only did it run at the same time as a major contest, proving to us that it works, it's also famous for having a theme. Prep up, men! It was universally slammed. Thank you, Frozen, for proving to us once and for all that themes do not work. Our last 72-hour contest was our 8th one in summer 2015. We got 67 entries, making it the most massive contest we've ever put on. It took us 48 days to get through all of the entries, and everybody hated waiting. From this, we learned how to judge large contests efficiently. And then there's the odd one out. The 7.2-hour contest, in which participants had 7 hours and 12 minutes to make a map. And of course, somebody made a 3-stage payload map in that time. People are crazy. But we learned from this a very important lesson. Contests can be too short. We're not going to put that on the board though. Instead, we're going to do a little bit of math first. Since we don't want a contest too short or too long, we're going to take the average of all of the contests we've ever done. If you take all of these and add up how long they took and average it out, it comes out to exactly 60 days. Exactly, no rounding. From that, we can gather that 2 months is probably around the sweet spot. So we're going to make this our perfect contest by being 2 months long. The last two are UEAK Crash's April Fool's Day contests. The first of these was in 2016, and we learned to encourage creativity by rewarding the most interesting maps. The second one was in 2018, and we learned that you shouldn't have a single judge that has both a full-time job and a child to take care of. It took Crash 73 days to judge all of the entries for this contest. We don't want to have to put him through that again. That was way too much. Alright, and I think that's everything on the board. Time to design our perfect contest. Alright, so I think I've managed to work out how we do this as a perfect contest. We need to make a contest where people enter a full map that also has lighting. We'll give them 2 months to make it, and have a jam during that time. There's only one phase to the contest, and you don't need competitive testing. There's a soft deadline so people can fix mistakes, and after an efficient judging process with more than one judge, we give medals to the winners. The whole thing is endorsed by Star. Tacker. We want a lot of participants, so no restrictions like mandatory custom content, needing to make textures, or complex logic. We need to keep it simple, stupid. So that means we have to accept all game modes. We're talking payload, we're talking asymmetrical, we're talking symmetrical, everything except for MVM. No MVM. We also don't want people to build around things because we're trying to encourage creativity. That leaves us with 2 more things on the board. We don't want themes, but detailing needs direction. So, in order to solve this conflict, I'm proud to announce the 16th major TF2Maps.net major contest. The Back to Basics contest. That's right, we're throwing detail completely out the window. There's no other possible way to make a perfect contest. Please, beg if you just make something, anything fun. We've completely run out of ideas. I don't care what game mode, what it looks like, how many times you can make a payload card go in a circle. Just please, make us something good. You can do any game mode you'd like this time, and we're splitting the judging into 2 categories, symmetrical and asymmetrical, so that things like King of the Hill and 5CP don't have to face off against a payload and attack defense. While we're not judging detailing this time around, visuals still matter. Lighting and navigation are extremely important, so while detailing won't be held against you, you're still going to need enough to make gameplay work. The contest starts right now and ends September 30th, after which you'll have 48 hours to submit any fixes you need to do. We've completely revamped the way we're judging it this time around, so please see the thread below for more details on our new process. Good luck, everyone. Huge thanks to Dr. Squishy, StarTacker, and Void for helping me uncover all of the dates for these contests, and extra huge special thanks to Badger for helping me track down the last few tricky dates. I want to give a shout out to the rest of the staff team, and in particular Phi and UEAK Crash for helping me edit the script to this, and Eidolon for running the contest this time around. Thanks again and good luck everyone.
I'm StarTacker and I approve this message.